Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning out for this one. I know I made mention that, we might be doing the debates or anything like that, and then I seen, especially just trolling social media earlier this morning, and, well, just kind of thinking that, there's a lot more buzz about this, Tucker Carlson Donald Trump interview than there is for the debates themselves, mostly because, well, the guy who's eventually going to be the nominee isn't going to be there, so fuck it, put it up to everybody. And then I seen the results of the poll, and I don't even know what the fuck it is at this point in time. Let me just check on this one, because holy fuck, it was pretty much a landslide. So I just thought, fuck, probably, I don't know, man, like, my summer has been totally fucked when it comes to scheduling, so I haven't been able to stream consistently at all for months at this point. Things have been breaking down. Internet has been flumpy. It's been a cataclysm of errors. There we go. Wanted to use that word, but at least I'm here at this point in time, and I'm thankful that everybody else is here as well, because, let's just make sure that there wasn't like a late push for no. Yeah, 95% for Trump and Tucker Carlson, which is supposed to go live here on and around 3 minutes or so, because that's what we got right here. Let's see if I can go ahead and show you. I'm on the Tucker's account here tonight at 8:55 p.m. So we're 3 minutes out. So I just wanted to chill with you guys for a second and just catch up a little bit, because I've been out of YouTube for, not my choice or anything like that, but just been out there for, what the fuck was it, like a week or a month? Not a week. Fuck it. Like I said, man, I've been super tired burning the midnight oil, and still after this, I got to record a bunch of shit. But you know what? We'll be back up to snuff here in September or not something like that. September will be better. Trust me, man. But see Raven Shore in here. Shout out to you. New name on the live streams, I think. Potentially. Maybe you change your name or something like that. But glad you turned out for this one. You said some incredibly nice stuff there as well, so I do appreciate that. But as soon as we get the interview going, it's just basically going to be a watch along. I don't know how long it's supposed to be going. I don't know how long, I'd imagine, because this is supposed to be counter programming for the debates themselves, so it'll probably be going an hour and a half maybe. And that's totally fine. Might, given the fact that it's also I think it'll probably be a video. I don't even know how they're going to be releasing that. Okay, it's just, it'll be going live at 8:55. So in a couple minutes time, it'll be going live. And, well, if it's going to be a live stream and I can't speed it up, well, we'll see. But, probably just, watch along and then just break it down as we go, because that's the way that I want to do things. If I need to add any commentary over the top of it, that's what'll be important. And if not, well, we'll just sit down and listen in like so many other people are, because, okay, even just these teaser clips that they're releasing, holy shit, man. 4.4 million views on the teaser clip that dropped a couple of hours ago. 15 million on the announcement from Tucker that the interview is going to be dropping here tonight. And far more excitement for that, because what's even trending right now? Tucker Carlson and Elections Canada. Now, obviously, because it's me up here in Canada, might be thrown off a little bit, but I don't see that same kind of passion to just see Vivek mop the floor with DeSantis. And I've seen different schematics for the debate stage. It's like, is there supposed to be 8 people? And I've seen something about Doug Burnham end up tearing one of his Achilles heels, or his Achilles tendons, and it's like, that really does suck. But I don't know what he was going to contribute to the debate. Speedy recovery, but probably better served for being the governor of North Dakota. You should probably go back there anyways. You were polling like 1%, but it was either 6 or 8 people up on the debate stage. But realistically, like I said in the debate prep video that went live on Rumble on Sunday and was the first one that I posted when we were coming back, there's realistically 3, maybe 4 people if you go by girth that you should be paying attention to on the debate stage. But I'm going to probably watch or at least listen to some coverage of that after the fact. And we'll probably watch it if I have the opportunity to do a stream on Sunday or on Tuesday. But we'll see. Oh, looks like debate night with Donald Trump. Here we go. Holy fuck, yeah. Oh, it's only 46 minutes long. Okay. Okay, we are live on this one. So yeah, without further ado, let's fucking go. You can see all the tabs that I have open there. Your boy still got work to do after this, for Christ's sake. So let's just see. Why'd you go black? Don't go black. Once you go black, you never go back home. Huh. But no, let's see here. Okay, so got everything good here. Make sure that the sound's all kosher. And yeah, without further ado, yeah, let's listen to the future president and maybe his VP pick. Who knows? Who knows?
It's debate night, but we're not in Milwaukee. Not in Milwaukee.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Okay, is this going to be stuttery? Because there's going to be a lot of people fucking watching this. Okay.
Mr. President, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Why aren't you at the Fox News debate tonight in Milwaukee?
Well, you know, a lot of people have been asking me that, and many people said you shouldn't do them, but you see the polls have come out, and I'm leading by 50 and 60 points. And, you know, some of them are at 1 and 0. And
well, he's not leading at 50 or 60 points. He's leading by about 30, depending on the poll that you want to use. I've used a couple of them, and I've been tracking them as well. Shout out Interactive Polls on Twitter, X, whatever the fuck we're calling it. He's definitely got 60% of the entire vote. So we'll just fact check Trump as we go. He's still, you know, the fact of the matter is he's getting 62. I think I seen the highest number that he was getting, but still he's now between, you know, 50 and mid 60s, and it's only going to get worse as more people drop off. So it's like, it's basically a race to see who's going to end up second. I called it back in the cut, and it's going to be Vivek, man. So, you know what?
2, and I'm saying, do I sit there for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it's going to be, and get harassed by people that shouldn't even be running for president? Should I?
Yeah, it's because it's going to be interesting because they're going to be intersplicing clips of Trump. Apparently, I don't know if it's going to be to answer questions or something like that, but then at the same time, okay, if it's going to be all about Trump and he's big timing you in order to do this interview that's going to get, let's keep it a buck, a whole hell of a lot more views, and you can also interview from the only guy that led or that gave your network relevance at all. Yeah, it's definitely going to double sting on that. So, yeah, no. The entire debate over there is going to be all about Trump. But, hey, man, might as well go straight to the horse's mouth.
Should I be doing that? And a network that isn't particularly friendly to me, frankly.
There we go.
They were backing Ron DeSanctimonious like crazy, and now they've given up on him. I mean, it's a lost cause. It reminded me very much of 2016. You know, in 2016, I went through the same stuff. And
the finest political theater ever. If you guys haven't gone back to watch those old primary debates, or at least some of the highlights, especially when he says to Rand Paul, I haven't said anything about your appearance, but trust me, there's plenty of material to work with. Or shushing Jeb Bush. Oh, we all remember those. And that was 8 fucking years ago. 8 years ago.
And had to fight them all the way, and then they became very friendly after I won, or just about when I was winning. But I just felt it would be more appropriate not to do the debate. I don't think it's right to do it. If you're leading by 50, 60, I have one poll, I'm leading by 70 points, and I'm saying, why am I doing it?
One, but
and I'm going to have 8 people, 10 people, whoever made the debate, I don't know how many it is, but I'm going to have all these people screaming at me, shouting questions at me, all of which I love answering, I love doing, but it doesn't make sense to do them. So I've taken a pass, as you probably noticed.
Well, I did. I'm grateful that you did. It's interesting, though, because you spent a lot of your career in television.
Yeah.
You had a top show in television on NBC. But you don't feel the need now running for president to do television, obviously. Do you think television is declining?
Well,
I think it's irrefutable that it's declining. That's why I've also been, doing, if you guys have been following the channel as well, been doing some more media coverage because, yeah, it's on its way out. And the way that I see it, I think YouTube's probably going to be picking up the torch and then just turning completely into them tube, monopolizing all of the influence that mass media already has with them, and then just do the full switch like that. I can already see it on the horizon. And yeah, if we don't call it out right now, it's definitely not going to. That's going to be a future that is set in stone as opposed to one that is malleable. And of course, shout out to Rumble for just keeping it a buck on everything anyway. So
according to a poll that I guess we just saw, it just came out where it's down like 35%, but I think they were referring to cable. I think cable's down because it's lost credibility. MSNBC, or as they say, MSDNC, is so bad. It's so wrong what they write and what they do and what they say. It's fake news, as I said. I think I came up with that term. I hope I did, because it's a good one. It's not tough enough anymore. It's corrupt news. Really what you do is call it corrupt news, but somehow that doesn't play as nicely. But it is corrupt news. So you have MSNBC and you have CNN, who's absolutely doing no ratings at all. I mean, they're dead. But they're doing none because they don't have credibility. They really don't have credibility. Fox is way down, as you know. And the good old days are...
Yeah, Tucker's old slot ended up losing, what was it, about 50% of its audience, I think, in the first week. And now I haven't even seen any ratings being posted. What was it, Jesse Waters took over his spot? It's like, nobody cares. Absolutely nobody cares. The only time that Fox News ever pops up is whenever they got Ron DeSantis on there. And it's like, wow, you guys are really just lapping his ass. He truly is the establishment candidate coming out. Huh, weird. It's funny, because I also got another video coming out tomorrow. I've yet to record it, but this is going to be in there. I've kind of got the script worked out in my head. Anyways, but the way that the media, at least the right media, is propping up DeSanctimonious, I wanted to say DeSantis, but we're listening to Trump, it's his place. We got to play by his rules right now. But no, the way that they're propping him up and then attacking Vivek, because I haven't seen, outside of a couple of the trade papers when it comes to Hollywood or something like that, going after Ron DeSantis. And that's only under the auspices that they love Disney, and Disney's in a tete-a-tete in a lawsuit war with DeSantis. So yeah, they will go ahead and take Disney's side on that one, but they aren't really... Yeah, they really aren't going that hard against Ron anymore ever since he started fading in the polls. But now, well, there's a new smear that's out for Vivek, and it makes him more appealing to the base. It's just proof also as well that they will dig up dirt on literally anybody. That's why I called it out so early, and it also resonated with you guys as well. That whole idea that Ron DeSantis is simply Trump's policies without any of the baggage. They will find baggage. For as long as I can remember, and for any president that I could recall, they always ended up getting smeared as a Nazi, a tyrant, a dictator. You can go all the way back to like Eisenhower, even before that probably as well. We could continue to go back. It's a double standard, and if you just think that, oh no, now if we're just going to be the party of high moral fiber, oh, that's how we're going to win. We need to win with dignity, guys, otherwise you can't even bother taking the win. Go fuck yourself. It's a different playing field now.
Or long ago. I will say this, it could come back, but they just don't have a lot of credibility, Tucker. You know that perhaps better than anybody. I think it was a terrible move getting rid of you. You were number one on television, and all of a sudden we're doing this interview, but we'll get bigger ratings using this crazy forum that you're using than probably the debate or competition.
When you say there are people on stage who shouldn't be running for president, who do you mean?
Well, I don't want to really use names, but it wouldn't.
Asa Hutchinson, Chris Christie, he should be running, but not for president. DeSantis, well, he proved that he shouldn't be running because, well, his political prospects. So it's after 2020, or that'd be 2026. Yeah, he's dead. He's done. He killed himself. Oh, well, sucks to suck. Vivek, he's going to be the only one who's going to benefit from this campaign. Like, Mike Pence didn't really have a career. Hey, somebody should tell you that you died 5 years ago. And, like, who the fuck else is up there? Oh, yeah, Tim Scott. Like, you just trying to get some donor money? Like, I don't even know the purpose of that. Nikki Haley, do you remember? She's running. I'm sure she'll say something stupid on the debate stage. But, like, yeah, the only person who is going to benefit from this campaign, it's probably Vivek. We'll keep it a buck.
Matter too much. A guy like, I call him Ada Hutchinson. Yeah. It's Asa, but I call him Ada.
Why do you call him Ada?
I could tell you, but I don't want to get myself in a little trouble. But he's weak and pathetic, and he was, I never understood the guy, never knew him. He was the governor of Arkansas, not a very popular guy. I don't know how but that state is such a great state. The people are so incredible in that state, and they love me and I love them. How does this guy get elected governor of Arkansas? But he's nasty.
Just the same way that Nancy Pelosi, who's about as popular as colon cancer, continues to get elected in San Francisco. She has the right letter affixed to the end of her name.
And has been. A guy like Chris Christie, the guy left with a 8%, think of it, 8% approval rating in New Jersey. Now he's running for president. And he runs solely on the basis, oh, let's get Trump. He's like a savage maniac. He's like a lunatic. And that's all he talks about. His poll numbers are very, very low. He's about 2%.
What's he like? You know him well.
No, I've been friendly with him over the years, but I couldn't give him a job because I just never trusted him very much. I was just never one of his people that really trusted him. I never gave him the job. And that's one of the reasons he feels so hurt and so betrayed. And I understand that. I really do. I understand it. But I never gave him. You know, he wanted to be different things. He was looking at different elements of the administration, and I decided I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, some of his policies were very retrograde, very Bushite, if you recall, back in about 2020, and the way that he was definitely trying to differentiate himself. Like, he laid the seeds pretty well. He ended up getting term limited out, and one of the many former press secretaries, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, well, she's the governor of Arkansas now. Okay, for Trump, she was a former press secretary for a very small period of time, but she's also the daughter of Mike Huckabee. So you know what? Hey, it's a familial thing down there, but she's at least pretty staunch about that, and she absolutely steamrolled her election. Whereas Asa, well, you know what? Hey, you can go ahead and take a look at the polls to see how popular he is. So Trump's not telling any tales out of school on this one.
And now I'm glad I did, because you see, but you know, we had some great people. I had great people. We'll have even better people if we do this, because now I know Washington. Before I didn't know Washington. But guys like Bill Barr were terrible. I mean, they were, I would say, Bushies.
Hey, good. I'm glad that he's picking up on that, because, okay, Bush, for as unpopular as he is with Democrats, for most of the Republican base, it didn't exactly have all that much staying power. So yeah, to just bring that up, it also diffuses another one of those good arguments. They think that it's a good argument, and it just kind of looks even more hypocritical now. But on the DeSantis side, oh, Trump surrounds himself with bad people. And it's like, okay, well, now just addressing that, hey, you know what? They didn't necessarily have the best intentions for the country in mind, and you can go and take a look at every post-office interview that Bill Barr has done, and he just continues to bury his credibility. So it's like, there were some bad people around me, and then I got rid of them. Imagine that.
That with respect to the Bush family, but they were Bushies, and it doesn't work out for us.
It was clear, this is kind of far afield, but it was just interesting. I read Barr's account of his time. He wrote a book about it.
Right.
Of course he did.
His autobiography. And in it, he lies about Jeffrey Epstein's death. Clearly lies.
What?
Do you think Epstein killed himself sincerely?
I don't.
I don't. Obviously, like, everybody knows the meme, but I just don't see how he could have done it. Like, everybody's run the tests, looked at the numbers, corroborated any of the evidence of the people that are still alive and haven't been Clintoned. But, like, I know I'm beating a dead horse at this one. It's just impossible to prove, unless you're just that brain dead and you believe the official statement on everything. It's just really tough to come to a different conclusion.
Don't know. I will say that, he was a fixture in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
I don't know what Barr said about it either. I have no idea what he said. What did he say? He killed himself, probably?
He said he killed himself, and that they were going to do this investigation. They never did the investigation. It's never been public.
Well,
and they hid it, and why are they doing that? And clearly Barr knew. But why would Bill Barr be covering up the death of Jeffrey Epstein?
Bill Barr didn't do an investigation on the election fraud either, okay? He said he did, and he pretended he did, but he didn't.
No, he definitely didn't, because, he was another one of those, kind of like Mike Pence saying that, we're going to investigate every claim down to the last vote. Every legal vote will be counted, and we're very confident with our side until the rubber hits the road. Then it's, I don't want to upset the boat. I don't want to, do we really need to do this? Can we just collect a paycheck and then just come back and then just run 4 years of, fake opposition where we just also just shake each other's hands behind the scene? Can we just do that?
McSwain, the U.S. attorney in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, said Barr just wouldn't let him do it. It was crazy. Barr became so petrified, so frightened of being impeached. They were going to impeach him. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah.
It's not a big moment in history. But they said, we're going to impeach. They play a much rougher game, the left, the lunatics. And they were going to impeach Bill Barr, and he was petrified. Now, how do you not get impeached? Don't do any of this stuff. but he didn't do the job there. I don't know what he did with Epstein, but possibly he didn't.
Do you think it's possible that Epstein was killed?
Oh, sure, it's possible. I mean,
No, come on. Security cameras go out all the time. Both of the guards watching the cameras, or at least watching the cell. They constantly get sent on break at the exact same time. People also, just make up stories about hearing screaming in the cells at the time. And then also the accounts of the brother who, I think it was the brother who ordered the second autopsy that found some very interesting stuff as well. Also would say that, his brother would never do that to himself because he talked an awful lot about trying to live forever. No, of course not. Why would you want to look into any of that stuff? Hey, man.
Don't really believe. I think he probably committed suicide. He had a life with, beautiful homes and beautiful everything, and he all of a sudden he's incarcerated and not doing very well. I would say that he did, but there are those people. There are many people. I think you're one of them, right? But a lot of people think that he was killed. He knew a lot on a lot of people.
He was killed.
You think so?
I think the closer you look, I'm not a conspiracy person at all. I believe everything I hear. But yeah, the closer you look into it, I mean, the Attorney General of the United States, your Attorney General clearly lied about the Epstein death.
Yeah,
and
he was.
Why?
He was certainly. It wasn't well done. They had no cameras. They had no anything. Everybody was sleeping, and a case could be made. Look, I'm not going to get involved in it, but I can tell you a case could be made either way. But
see, Trump doesn't want to investigate Epstein because he flew with him. Did you see the pictures of him? Yeah, sure thing. Okay, but yeah, whose name is more prominently on those lists and who actually took flights, not on the continental United States jet, but who's flying on the Lolita Express that was also a former president? Yeah, we don't want to talk about those 26 times.
It certainly wasn't the most well-run place.
So the reason I'm asking you is I'm looking at the trajectory since 2015 when you got into politics, for real, and then won. It started with protests against you, massive protests, right. Organized protests by the left, and then it moved to impeachment twice,
right?
And now indictment. I mean, the next stage is violence. Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they try and kill you?
Shout out to Andrew Tate for outlining everything. First, they cancel you. What did they do to Trump? Well, what was that? To January 6th? Well, the evening of the 6th, and then on the 7th, he was taken off of everything, just like popcorn in a popper, just boop, 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 taken off of everything. And then they tried to throw you in jail. What's happening right now? Exactly. And then what's the third strike? Because it's the 3-strike rule. Well,
honestly.
They're savage animals. They are people that are sick, really sick. You have great people in the Democrat Party. You have great people that are Democrats. Most of the people in our country are fantastic, and I'm representing everybody. I'm not just Republicans or conservatives. Right. I represent everybody. I'm the president of everybody. But I've seen what they do. I've seen the lengths that they go to. When they make up the Russia, when that's exposed and they go down, and Barr should have gone after them, and other people should have gone after. And they did very late, because the Durham report came out. It was fairly good. It could have been a lot tougher, I guess, but it was fairly good. But it explained how corrupt it was. I'll tell you.
Yo, shout out to Cart Gamer on the YouTube side of this. Okay. Go Kamala Harris 2024, save democracy. You go, girl. But no, Cart Gamer for bringing this to my attention there. Isn't that hilarious? Isn't that hilarious that Fox News is apparently striking YouTube channels, taking down streams for reacting to the debates? Good stuff. Good stuff, Fox News. Somebody's big fucking mad because nobody's going to be watching your stupid-ass cable stream. Good. Fantastic.
Who did a great...
We'll still react to them, okay? Because, just as the way that I'm breaking this down, we're 8 minutes. My recording has been going for 28, and this is 8 minutes into the 46-minute long interview. Yeah, I'm definitely transforming this stuff, but yeah, of course they do that.
Great job was the Inspector General Horowitz. He did a phenomenal report. You didn't have to go to do it. He did it on Comey and on, I guess, McCabe and some others, and it was a vicious, it was basically a true report, how bad they are. But these people are sick people. These are people that I think they hate our country. You want to know the truth. when you see open borders, when you see these policies that they have, and so many other things, it's so sad to see. You know, we have a country that's very fragile right now. I've never seen, I will say, look, I ran in 16, which was 15, but I ran in 16, election in 16, and there was tremendous spirit. In 20, there was even more spirit. We got millions and millions more votes. You know, it wasn't even a contest. People said, well, what'd you think of 20? I said, we did much better. We did. You got to base it on the number of votes. We got many more votes in 20 than we did in 16.
Yeah, that's categorically true. Enough to win.
But the election was rigged. It was a rigged election.
Oh, no.
And with COVID, they used COVID to cheat in a lot of different things. And
now what are they trying to do?
we have so much on it. It's like so easy. But we had judges.
Nursing homes in Wisconsin, Maricopa County, poster board in Detroit. I was trying to think, what's the district that Detroit's in? Can't quite remember, but no, down there, what were the other ones? Well, pipes burst. Oh, wait, they didn't at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, but you know what? Hey, man, it was all fine. Great.
That didn't want to look. We had people didn't want to get involved. They called you, he's a conspiracy theorist if you say anything about the election. But
no, you get struck on YouTube. Trust me, I'm a testament of that. I think after the most recent banning, I've been banned 6 different occasions, because it was so funny. Right before I got struck here the last time, I was just taking a look, like, when was the last time? Because boy, it's been a while. Thankfully, you know what, I'm not trying to wish for another one, but last year in October, when most people probably on the channel, because I've like quadrupled the size of my channel since that time, but yeah, it was October. It was the end of October, and one of those strikes, I think one of them was for violence, and then another one was for reporting on what was happening in Wisconsin in the nursing homes. Yeah, and the fact that they were just finding the machines that we were talking about back in 2020. Not that, like voting machines or anything like that, but just the political machines. Go ahead and fill in the blanks. I know that you can talk about this stuff on YouTube, but I also have a theory that, they're just right now, they're loosening the collar, giving you a little bit more slack on the rope until they just decide to lock everything down right before the election. Not like with, like COVID lockdowns or anything like that, even though I'm sure some sort of lockdown, they'll try it. But on YouTube specifically, if you're going to be inciting anything, or if you're going to be talking conspiracy theories as nebulous as their terms are, they'll try to strike old channels. So still talking code, not for the fact that I don't believe in anything that I'm saying, but I just want to be able to get the message across as well. So does that make sense? Hope so.
I have never seen spirit like there is right now. Even coming down here, just the people on the road that are just absolutely going crazy. And the reason is, I think they like me, and I know they love my policies. I hope they like me too. A lot of people say they don't like me, but they like my policies. I think they like me. But I have never seen spirit like it is right now. And the reason is because crooked Joe Biden is so bad. He's the worst president in the history of our country. I don't think he's going to make it to the gate, but you never know. But he's a corrupt person, so corrupt.
I want to know what you guys think about that, because there's obviously a lot of conspiracy theories when it comes to Biden. Oh, last second replacement. Oh, they're going to try to put Michelle Obama in there, get Big Mike to run against Trump. It'll be a 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional, 8-dimensional chess move for the Democrats to bring in Gavin Newsom at the last second. And it's like, no, I still think it's going to be Joe Biden. It's just going to be decrepit-ass old Joe Biden. The Democrats think that they can go ahead and get away with it one more time and then just continue to, try to prep as California continues to just fall into the ocean. I think that might be the only thing. That could be the only thing just staving off Gavin Newsom's presidential aspirations, just how obvious the decay in California is right now. If he can turn it around, I put it out on Twitter that I really think that he's going to be the one to watch. Not because I think he's a good politician or his policies are solid or anybody that I would support, but in 2028, the Democrats are going to run Gavin Newsom. Like, I would bet my house on it, okay? Like, he's going to be running then, and he's holy fuck, he's got a really good chance. That's why Vivek can take up the torch that Ron DeSantis decided not to just drop, but to just throw into the nearest pool of water. That'd be about the only guy that could combat him charisma-wise on stage and could absolutely dog walk him. That's the hope that I have. It's like 2028 could be a little sketchy because charisma sells, man, okay? Not policy.
Up that I took the name off Hillary. You know, I don't do two people at one time. I took the crooked Hillary and I retired the name. That was a good day for her. I bet she was very happy. And I used it for Joe because it's Crooked Joe. Yeah. But Joe is really...
But you don't think he's going to make it to November of 24?
Well, I think he's worse mentally than he is physically. And physically, he's not exactly a triathlete or any kind of an athlete.
No, can't you see the way that he takes on hurdles? He does great with little sandbags on a flat desk. Jesus.
You look at him, he can't walk to the helicopter. He walks.
Damn it.
He can't lift his feet out of the grass. You know, it's only 2 inches at the White House, right? That's not a lot. But you watch him, and it looks like he's walking on toothpicks. So, and then you see him on the beach where he can't lift a chair. You know, those chairs are meant to be light, right? They're like 2 ounces. Yeah. You lift them up. He can't lift the chair. He can't walk to the chair. And I don't know what they're doing with the beach. You know, this beach is seeming to play a big role, but they love pictures of him on the beach. I think he looks terrible on the beach. He looks terrible on the beach.
Skinny legs.
Well, he can't walk through the sand. You know, sand is not that easy to walk through, but when he walks through it, he can't walk through the sand.
Well, not just sand, but everywhere else. Like, come on, Trump, you're cooking this guy, this old fucker. Like, and given the fact that he's, 81, and it's like you don't have to cook him for that long, but...
And there's somebody in there that thinks he looks fabulous at the beach. I think he looks horrible at the beach. Plus, the beach doesn't represent what a president's supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be working. You're supposed to be getting us out of that horrible, horrible war that we're very much involved in with Russia and Ukraine. You could do that. You could do that very easily. I believe you could do that I don't believe he could do it because he's...
I don't have anything planned when it comes to a video of this, but did you guys see that, what's his nuts there, Prigozhin, the former head of Wagner Group, his private jet just mysteriously went down? Yeah. Like, Russia's obviously winning that war. I know, spoilers, right? But it just goes to show, maybe you don't want to cross Putin. Rest in hell, you fuck.
He's just incompetent. But that's a war that should end immediately, not because of one side or the other, because hundreds of
and the means in which that peace can be achieved if somebody just goes to the fucking table and negotiates shit, something that they haven't done since, I think it was March of 2022. Nobody's been to negotiation tables, mostly because, Zelensky's too busy counting his billions, and the terms of peace are very simple. Don't join NATO. Don't join the EU. Let independence for Crimea and the Donbass continue. Oh, yeah, and get rid of all of those fucking Nazis you have in the military. Copacetic? Great. Fantastic. We can go ahead and live peaceful lives. How about that?
Thousands of people are being killed. Can you imagine you're in an apartment house and rockets are going into that building and blowing it up and knocking it down? And why should anybody, human beings, these are human, whether they're Russian or Ukrainian or whatever they are, it's got to be stopped. And it can be stopped very easily. It would have never started. If I were president, it would have never started.
So back to Biden, I'm interested. So you think he's failing? He obviously is failing. I think it's clear to everybody. But that would make Kamala Harris the candidate?
Well, not really. I mean, I guess they'd have maybe a free-for-all. A lot of people say she has to remain for certain reasons the candidate. She has to. I don't think that's true, actually. I don't think that other people would stand for it. She has some bad moments. Her moments are almost as bad as his. I think his are worse, actually.
Yeah. But she seems pretty senile, too.
She speaks in rhyme.
Oh, my God.
It's weird. It's weird. But she has bad moments. And
in rhyme? What do you...
Well,
I've not heard that one before, but it's all right. Hold up. Let him cook.
The way she talks, the bus will go here and then the bus will go there because that's what buses do. It's weird. The whole thing is weird. This is not a president of the United States future. And
you see, Russia's a big country, okay? And Ukraine is a small country. It's like history. It rhymes.
I think they probably have some kind of a primary. And other people will
Bitch
get
rhymes.
involved.
Fuck.
Newsom, right? I mean,
Could be.
Hey.
You know, I always got along well with him, believe it or not. But could be him, could be somebody else. He's got a big load on his shoulders because you look at California.
Hand on his lower back. Who
What's
said
happened.
that?
But I don't know if the American people really, the people that vote for him, I don't even know if they care. You know, you look at so many of the things that are going on, and people don't seem to be. In the old days, if you had a bad record, it meant a lot. Today, if you have a bad record, it doesn't really mean anything. You know, he looks good. He's a nice-looking guy, speaks well. But Biden, every time you watch him talking, it's like he's walking on eggs. You're waiting for him to collapse.
Oh, no.
And he almost always does. And I got to know the leaders of all of the countries, essentially, but the big ones. And the bigger, the tougher the leader. You know, it's like sort of, I guess maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. But I got to know President Xi of China, and Putin,
Fair
and
enough, yeah.
Kim Jong-un, North Korea. Did a great job with North Korea, kept us out of a nuclear war. We would have 40,000 dead soldiers right now. They'd drop a nuke right on top of the military base. But we have 40,000 soldiers over there.
I think you guys probably remember how high the tensions were back in 2014, 2015 with North Korea when Obama was in charge. If Hillary would have won, definitely would have been a hot war or a rekindling of the Korean War. That was pretty much certain, but no, it's Orange Man bad, right? Oh, he wrote lovely letters to Kim Jong-un. Oh,
and I did great. I got along with him great. That's a positive. You know, the press said, he said nice things about Kim Jong-un. I also said horrible things at the beginning. Horrible enough that he wanted to talk. And we talked, and we met in Singapore. We met actually twice. And we had unbelievable meetings. I know him very well. We were in great shape with him.
What do you think he and Xi and Putin think of Biden?
I think they can't believe it. I think they probably say this is some kind of a system. You know, they had great respect for our country. They respected me. They had great respect for our country when I was there. Every one of them. Look, if you go to North Korea, you take a look at what happened. You know, the Olympics was dead. South Korea spent billions on the Olympics. Nobody was going to go. They didn't want to get blown up. They called me and they said, we are going to let the Olympics proceed. This is North Korea. I said, you should go into the Olympics. Put your athletes in. It wasn't like, you know, they were big on athletes because, you know,
famine.
But they went in and they actually participated. And within about 2 days, the entire thing was sold out. And if it wasn't me, that would have never happened. But I got along very well with him, and that's a positive thing. He does have massive nuclear.
Did that actually happen? I got to check that because I know the fuck was it? Because I did a video on it back in 2020 where Trump ended up getting some college football started up again. So he at least, like, this is the way that the media always wants to paint it. Oh, Trump lies about everything, but no, he's just more colorful about certain accomplishments. So he does at least have he has a little bit of experience when it comes to resurrecting athletic events that seem to be lost. But I don't know about that. I got to check that out.
Power, by the way. And if Hillary would have gotten in, or if the Obama thought process continued, it would have been a nuclear war, absolutely, with North Korea. He was expecting to go into a war, and it would have been a nuclear war.
So do you think the rest of the world looks on at Biden and thinks someone else has got to be running the government?
Well, somebody else has to be. I don't think he's capable of doing anything. Look, when I debated him, I said, how come, and this was in front of probably not a friend of yours, Chris Wallace. He was the moderator.
Not a friend.
I said, why is it? He wants to be Mike, but he doesn't have the talent. It's one of those
bitchy little man.
He wanted.
Oh, if that's another. Here I was thinking that the Kamala Harris, she likes to rhyme. She talks in rhymes. That was going to be the most pointed barb, but he's a bitchy man. I love that. North Korea participated in the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea. I forgot it was there. Huh, interesting. No fucking idea. Huh. Trump didn't lie after all. Not that not that I believe he does. Well, in so much as they make it out to him being a liar far too often.
To be his father, but he didn't have the talent of his father was great. He's a
little fussy man.
His father interviewed me in 60 Minutes. It was actually a 10. Can you believe it?
No, I totally. His father had talent, at least.
I may have been the only guy that he gave a good 60 Minutes to. He was rough.
Really?
His father was tough. He was great, though. He was great at what he did. But Chris Wallace was so upset. He was guarding this guy who wouldn't do a show, by the way. He wouldn't do. I figured I didn't mind Chris Wallace because Biden wouldn't do a show, and it was very obvious. He kept asking him and asking, but he wouldn't do the show. So I figured he's got to like me. But he came from a different planet. But remember when I asked the question, why is it that the mayor of Moscow's wife is allowed to give you $3.5 million? Don't forget, that was brought up. Now it's brought up all the time, but that was brought up by me long before anyone ever heard of it.
It wasn't to Joe. It was to Hunter. That's totally different. I mean, come on. I'm wondering, because I think the investigation from the House Oversight Committee is still ongoing. Is there anything that's going to happen with the investigation, or is this just going to be another thing that the Republicans grandstand on in order to turn into another election issue for, if you want us to actually prosecute the Bidens in 2024, you better vote for us, or it'll just end up being, we caught him red-handed, and here's our strongly worded tweet. Just fuck off.
I said, the mayor of Moscow's wife giving you $3.5 million. What did you do to deserve $3.5 million?
Fuck all.
Biden. And Chris Wallace said, this has nothing to do with the debate. I mean, he
got in the way of the question.
No, it was
during the
crazy.
presidential
And I said,
elections.
well, wait a minute. He got $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife. Now, people forget that, but you go back and take a look. You will see. And Chris Wallace didn't want me to ask that question. I said, I think it's a very appropriate question.
That was I forgot that he's talking about the presidential debates. Yeah, because that was the first one that was moderated by Chris Wallace that ended up first bringing the Proud Boys to prominence. That's probably what that debate is best known for. Well, that and Trump just, battling both of those fucks. But then also that probably solidified the moment that Chris Wallace knew that his time at Fox News was up. And just Fox News is total flip to being a proxy Democratic channel. If we want to use the term controlled opposition, I think it definitely fits now for Fox. It definitely did at the time, but now it's all but solidified.
It turned out to be much more appropriate than people thought.
Amazing. So do you have a preference in, assuming you're the Republican nominee and all goes as you plan it to go, do you have a preference in who you run against?
In many ways, I'd love to run against him because his record's so bad. It's still horrible when you look at inflation and everything else, but others also have very bad records. I mean, California's a bad record, so, should it be Gavin or should it be somebody else?
Yeah, the Democrats' bench is so fucking barren. Like, you take a look at, now, thanks to this election cycle, also just exposing how weak the GOP truly is. Outside of just, your one Ramaswamy on the bench, but, that does not field the team necessarily. But over on the Democrat side, who the fuck are you actually going to run? Like, outside of the charisma that is Gavin Newsom, okay, if anybody can actually effectively equivocate his failures in California and how terrible that situation is, man, he immediately gets taken down. And who else is out there? Like, I'm genuinely wondering, because normally you'd take a look at your two Democratic strongholds, but Kathy Hochul, like, that bitch almost lost to Lee fucking Zeldin, okay? Like, that wasn't even that long ago. He got closer than any Republican has since, or achieved a greater share of the vote since, what's his nuts? Oh, Christ. It's not Psaki. Pataki. Was he the mayor or the governor? No, Pataki was the governor, right? Yeah, no, he ended up being the best in the polls. That's just a testament to how terrible Kathy Hochul is. And there's no other names that immediately spring to mind. Like, they're all fucking trash bags. There's no bench. AOC's gonna run for president, and she's technically of age for 2024, but she's dumb enough. She has a big enough ego to run in 2028. That was going to be fun to watch. Oh my God, there's going to be so many spurgs.
When I look at San Francisco, what's happened to that incredible city? That was one of the greatest cities in the world just a short while ago, and now it's
not lying.
Very sad when you look at it. Los Angeles, every city practically, all the Democrat-run cities. Republican-run cities are doing very nicely because they arrest people when you have crimes. And they don't go after political candidates because they think it's good. It's been amazing. My poll numbers are the highest I've ever had. But because people understand it.
Can I just ask you, that gets back to my original question. So if the protest didn't work, you got elected anyway. Yeah. Impeachment didn't work twice, obviously. indictment is not working.
No.
Your poll numbers go up. When they raided Mar-a-Lago in August of last year, your numbers went up. They can indict you 20 times, and you're not gonna lose the Republican primary because of that.
Well,
So,
it makes it look even more ridiculous. I mean, the 4 indictments, and maybe there'll be more. I don't know. These people are crazy.
But they're counterproductive. So if you chart it out, it's an escalation, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So what's next? After, try to put you in prison for the rest of your life, that's not working. So, don't they have to kill you now?
Oh, no.
I think the people of our country don't get enough credit for how smart they are. And I'm not sure I would have said this 10 years ago.
Man.
But they get it. They really get it. When somebody gets indicted, your poll numbers go down. When somebody gets indicted, you announce, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be leaving to spend time with my family and to fight for the rest of my life on this stuff.
Yeah.
But you're out of politics. I got indicted 4 times. All trivia, nonsense, bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's horrible when you look and you look at what they're doing. The boxes hoax. I'm covered by the Presidential Records Act. I'm allowed to do exactly that.
No, but there was that audio that ended up getting debunked as having nothing to do with the situation. Oh, that clearly paints a picture that you show classified documents to a journalist, even though it's, hey, take a look at this. Wow, isn't that crazy? Like that is classified. What exactly are you talking about? Oh, okay, cool. So the person that's on the recording is going to be able to testify as to the specificity of what was on the specific piece of paper, would be able to pick it out of a lineup or out of the hundreds of thousands of documents that is right there. Good evidence that you have right there. But yeah, exactly. Like the number of defenses that Trump can pull for any one of the federal cases, the state cases are absolute fucking dog shit, and I'll probably be talking about this more tomorrow because apparently Georgia, because 6 or 8 mugshots like Giuliani's, Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, all of those have already been taken. Trump's supposed to be surrendering tomorrow. He has until the 25th, so I guess that would be Friday in order to turn up. But the moment that they snap that mugshot is the moment that he becomes the 47th president. Like, there is absolutely no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like, that is the dumbest fucking thing that they can do, and they're too busy just going down there going, oh, we got him this time. You're so fucking dumb, man. I can't wait for it. Like, that video is already penciled in because if Trump doesn't immediately make merch out of that stuff, like, that's going to be one of the biggest missed opportunities ever. But he's going to do that. I can't believe that they're knowingly doing that without being forced by policy. No, bro, that's really going to make them look guilty. Yep, just like Russia, just like Ukraine, just like impeachment 1, just like impeachment 2, just like January. Like, the list continues to go on and on and on. Ask Ron Perlman, ask Mark Hamill. The walls are closing in any day now, guys. Trust us. He's
not covered, and he's got 25 times the number of boxes. And he's got them stored in Chinatown. He's got them stored in a flimsy garage underneath his Corvette at Penn. And by the way, at Penn, he gets millions of dollars. China pays this guy millions of dollars. See, I think he's the most corrupt president we've ever had. And he also has the distinction of being the most incompetent. Yeah. And I believe both. I mean, he's both incompetent and corrupt.
So
and
I
actually believe he's compromised, because China knows so much about him. They know where the money comes from. Yeah. They know where it is, who paid it, and they probably paid it. Well, they do pay Penn, and he gets $1 million. I think he takes $999,000 because keeps it a little bit under $1 million, like by $1.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah. Okay. Okay. No.
He in many ways is a Manchurian candidate. We have a Manchurian candidate. And he's afraid to tell Russia to get out of Cuba. He's afraid to tell...
How dare you talk about Robert J. Peters like that?
China to get out of Cuba. He's afraid. China now is building, think of this. China is building military installations in Cuba.
Yeah.
The Cuban population of Miami is not too happy because they're never going to be able to go back. And you don't even hear about it. And the worst culprit is the press, the media, because normally, when I first heard that China is building installations in Cuba, and installations means military installations, okay, they said just some communication. They did that on the islands with Japan.
It was just like the balloon was just simply, oh no, it's just weather balloon.
They took the island, they started this massive construction, And they told everybody, including the Japanese have to be very careful. They told everybody that this is a housing development. They're going to build a housing development. And I said, how come the runway is 20,000 feet long? You know, private jets need
lots of housing.
4,000 feet. They don't need 20,000 feet.
Yeah.
The big ones need 20,000 feet. They don't even need 20. And I looked at the runway. I said, that's the largest runway ever built, both in width and length, for a housing development. There's nobody that has a plane that big that you would have a runway that's
Why is
for
China
testing.
allowed to conduct imperialism in our hemisphere?
Well, yeah, and it's far beyond Cuba. It's all over South America.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because the leadership is weak across the Western Hemisphere. But obviously that was just a setup.
The Caribbean.
So we built a thing called the Panama Canal. We lost 35,000 people to the mosquito, malaria.
Yeah.
We lost 35,000 people building. We lost 35,000 people because of the mosquito. Vicious. They had to build under nets. It was one of the true great.
Well, that's not the only canal that ended up costing Americans their lives. It was about 188. They were on a ship somewhere, and then they got shot down. Can't quite remember exactly where that was.
Wonders of the world, as he said, one of the 9 wonders of the world. No, it was one of the 7. It happened a little while ago,
No, the 8th wonder of the world is Andre the Giant. The 9th wonder of the world is China. Let's get it straight, Joe.
Says 9 wonders of the world. You could make 9 wonders. He would have been better off if he stuck with the 9 and just said, yeah, I think it's 9. But this is one of the true 7 wonders of the world. And you take a look at the Panama Canal. It was such an incredible engineering marvel. We sold it under Jimmy Carter. We sold it to Panama for $1. The following day, they quadrupled the amount of money that ships had to pay to get across.
Yeah.
They didn't lose one ship. And now they've made it much bigger, and now they've widened it. They've doubled it, right? They've more than doubled it. And it's one of the most profitable things. Any time it's just incredible, right? We gave it away for $1. China now controls it. They actually control the Panama Canal. They run it, they control it. And we shouldn't let that happen. And we can't let China be in Cuba. And they'll get out. If I'm president, they'll get out. Because I had a very good relationship with President Xi, but he respected this country, he respected me, and he'll get out. And we can't let them run the Panama Canal. We built the Panama Canal. Should have never been given to Panama. We should have had it. But we gave it for $1. Think of it. They quadrupled. In one day, they lifted the fees, which are, pretty big, for these massive ships to go through, right?
All right, Trump,
rather than going around the
this
Cape and all the tremendous storms,
trash.
such beauty.
Just this part.
When
Rest of it's hilarious. Can I get some video settings? The fuck is going on, you dumb... Okay. You know what? I don't want to fuck this up because who knows how many people are trying to watch this video right now, so fuck it.
Yes,
I was going to try to speed it up,
but you didn't want to get caught in those storms. Those were storms that wiped out the biggest ships. And we go through the Panama Canal. We built it.
We know
and we
Trump.
gave it away for
Thanks,
$1.
Don.
Think of that.
We
How
get
stupid
it.
are we? We have done the stupidest things in this country.
It's just stupid.
And now we have a president that can't put 2 sentences together, can't speak, can't walk, can't talk. I don't think he gets to the starting gate, but these people do miracles. I mean, he ran out of his basement, and you got away with that one because of COVID, so he sort of got away.
I've been reading 38 Strategies of War, Robert Greene book right now, and it talks a lot about different politicians that are out there, and not even ones that I like or anything like that, but it's also important to understand your enemy and the tactics that they use so that you can spot patterns. And Joe Biden, his presidential hero, or his political hero, like Ron DeSantis's H.W. Bush, remember that one. But yeah, Joe Biden holds in reverence FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, because he ended up, a 4-term president, barely alive for 3.5 of them, but it's kind of shout out to Joe for that one, obviously. But the way that FDR campaigned on his, I think, re-election campaign, so I guess it would have been term number 2, was exactly the way that Joe Biden campaigned in 2020. Would just hide away, let the Republicans infight, and then come out, and then just Well, he kind of failed on the second half of that because FDR came out and was a complete firebrand and went completely further to the left. Joe came out and, well, he stumbled, mumbled, and fucked around on stage and, just gave speeches to empty parking lots that had a lot of cars in them. Do you guys remember that cringe fest? Fuck, that was terrible. Or had Barack Obama go out to fruit stands in order to pander to 6 people that showed out. Most popular president of all time, right? Yuck. But no, it was very weird. It was very shocking to read that, FDR campaigned like that. And he ended up winning during a war. Oh, interesting. Oh, okay, cool. So I see exactly what Joe's trying to do. So understand history so, you can try to avoid those same pitfalls into the future.
Away with it. They cheated on the election.
No.
You have people that are very smart, but they're fascists and they're radical left lunatics, and they're destroying our country with the all-electric cars and the windmills all over the place, which, by the way, don't work, and most of them made in China. For the most part, they're made in China. Germany a little bit, but China.
Yep.
But you look at what's happening to our country, even no voter ID. I mean, why don't they want voter ID? There's only one reason they don't want voter ID, because they want to cheat. I mean, who doesn't want, the Democrat convention, the last one, they had voter ID that was this big. It looked like a prison card. This big on their chest. You walked in, they had your picture, your this, your fingerprint. They had everything. The most incredible voter ID I've ever seen.
Carry your vaccine passport, but voter ID is racist.
That was to get into the Democrat National Convention. But to get into vote, if you buy groceries, if you buy practically anything now, you have ID on a card.
Food stamps,
credit cards or otherwise.
But don't you think it's racist to have to show your ID?
Well, they probably say that. They use anything not to show ID because voter ID is pretty simple. And we could go back, and we should go back to all paper ballots, voter ID, same-day voting. France did it. France had mail-in ballots, and it was terrible. Anytime you have mail-in ballots, you're going to have massive cheating on your elections. Anytime, but not just the presidential election. Anytime you have...
Isn't that the whole point of them?
Yeah.
So you can cheat?
Yeah, sure. It's their whole point. That's their whole point. They want to cheat. Yeah. Yep. They have to cheat because their policies are so bad that if they didn't cheat, they couldn't get elected. Who wants open borders? Who wants high taxes? Who wants high interest rates? Who wants to not be able to use a gas stove or have to drive an electric car, which, you have a 4-hour drive, but the car only goes an hour and a half, so you have to charge it.
What was it? The CEO of Ford. I don't know if you guys seen this as well, but that was a story that was going around as well. He was completely shocked for the fact that he had to pull over. I forget how far he was going, but he had to charge his vehicle for 40 minutes, and he could only get a 40% charge. Or it was something similar to that. He was absolutely appalled by the distance that he could get and the amount of time that was needed in order to charge everything. It's like, wow. Thanks for coming around to the rational position on this. Where are you going to charge these things? Okay, speaking about the electric cars, how many charging stations? Okay, if you're going to go ahead and do a 1-for-1 replacement of all the cars, which, spoiler, is not what they're trying to do. They're just trying to price everybody out of the market so that you end up on public transportation so the government completely controls your movements, which, hey, maybe you fix a tinfoil hat for a second, but you think about it for a moment and it's not all that conspiratorial. But no, they want to give you a car and that takes forever to charge that you can only just kind of commiserate in your own little, what were they trying, 15-minute cities? Oh yeah, no, it's totally fine. You can just throw it on the charger at night at the apartment that you live in with thousands of other people, but they're also going to be charging their vehicles at the same time. Oh, cool. And even if you get over that hurdle, where do you get the electricity to charge those vehicles? Oh, the little wind turbine. You got one of those little party favors that you can go ahead and make the turbine spin in order to charge up your car. You're out of your fucking mind. And not every city in the country or in the hemisphere or even in the world, because I think Europe, I got a video well in the cut on this one, but Europe moving to completely green vehicles in 2030 or 2035. It's been a second since I recorded that one, but getting everything on the power grid, it's just not tenable. Especially given the fact that they continue to shut down nuclear power plants. But no, solar. Solar's going to take care of everything. In those Nordic countries that also have, very small windows of light during half of the year. And especially in my neck of the woods in Canada. Yeah, when the sun comes up at 9 o'clock in the morning from November all the way until about late February. The sun will rise at about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then it'll go down at about 3:34. So yeah, you're gonna be able to charge your house and charge your vehicle in that very small amount of time. Hopefully, it's not snowing. Hopefully, it's not cloudy that day. That you get perfect sunlight that can barely crest over the your neighboring homes that are there. Yeah, it totally makes sense, right? It's not social engineering. It's not population control at all. No. That's a conspiracy theory, right?
The happiest moment for somebody in an electric car is the first 10 minutes. In other words, you get it charged, and now for 10 minutes. The unhappiest part is the next hour because you're petrified that you're not going to be finding another charger. People, I'm saying, I'm not knocking electric cars, they're fine. They're fine. But if people want to buy a gasoline car or a hybrid, hybrids are pretty good, actually, but they should be allowed to buy. They don't want to do any of this. So right now, California's in a big brownout because their grid is a disaster. The grid all over the country is sort of a disaster, but the grid in California. And yet, they want to have in a very short period of time millions and millions of cars going off that grid, essentially. It doesn't work.
So plug your car into a grid that's failing.
You should be able to buy an electric car. You know, electric cars could be fine if you drive short distances and you want to have, whatever, and you have plug-ins everywhere you go.
Did he retroactively just listen to my diatribe that I just went on?
It could be fine. But you got to have gasoline cars. You got to have everything. Let people buy everything.
Yeah.
Now there's the new
Leave
thing
people
is your
alone.
Heating systems in the house. They don't want you to have a modern day heating system. They want you to use a heating system that will cost you at least $10,000 to buy.
Unless you're in New York City, then you're not allowed to burn wood. Well, that's maybe just for pizza ovens.
And won't work very well. You know, none of the stuff works as well.
No.
One of the things I did with EPA is you have states, many states, most of the states have so much water. It comes out of heaven, right? The water pours down and you have it. It's there. It's got to go.
Yes, and babies come from storks. Come on, Trump. You got to be a little bit more articulate than that. Water, rain comes from heaven. You know that. We all know that. We know it's just a wonderful gift from God. It's like, okay, I guess.
Wherever it goes, into the oceans, whatever. It's not like a big problem. Now, in some states, they have a problem. You have some desert areas. And
shout out Flint.
For that, it's okay. But they have sinks where no water comes out. You turn it on, no water comes out. No water comes out of the shower. No water is allowed to go into the washing machine for your dishes or for your clothing or what. And I avoided all of that.
Wait, they have sinks where no water comes out?
Sure, you have restrictors. When I say no water, very little water. You want to wash your hands, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen this, and you turn on the sink and it's very little. Or you want to wash your beautiful hair, right? And you're standing under a shower. Then the suds never go. If the water comes out very slowly. I'm sure you've seen this. It usually takes place in new hotels and new homes.
Yeah, you take a drill and take the
they have
limiter out.
Well, you can,
right.
but now they make it so you can't do that so easily. They have a restrictor. It's called a restrictor, and it restricts the water from coming out. So I ended all of that, and you have to see these. They let the water come out.
Oh,
you know what
good.
people do? They wash their hands like 5 times longer, or in the washing machine, they'll press for their, let's say the dishwasher. They'll press it. Then they'll press it about 7 or 8 times.
You're not supposed to abuse your wife. Who said that?
Yeah.
They'll end up using more water, and it still won't be very good. I met with the head of Whirlpool. They were practically going out of business during my administration, and they said to me, from Ohio, incredible, great state, I love Ohio, and they were really doing badly because people were dumping washing machines all over, mostly from South Korea, but also from China. And he was explaining it's just a terrible situation. I said, let me ask you, how's the quality? He says, we're better, but they are good enough quality. But, of course he's going to say that, but, they are better. He said, but they don't allow us.
It's a very strange ad right now for Whirlpool, but okay, they were great, but they're really good quality. It's just, I like the company. Okay, let's get on with it.
They're dumping these machines. They're cutting us in half. They're killing us. And on top of it, the government won't let us use water in our machines. I mean, he shows me like a quarter of a bottle of water. That's supposed to be washing clothing. And I freed it all up, and I put tariffs on these countries that were
Tucker
selling
knows that this is boring as fuck.
And that company went from a big all the washing machine companies, they make washing machines, they make dryers, they make all of the different machines.
All right, Grandpa,
that do this
come
kind
on.
of work, including dishwashers.
Jesus.
And they went from a disaster area to being just thriving.
But can I ask
they
why?
love me in that part of Ohio.
Well, I bet they do, but why should EPA, no one at EPA was elected by anybody,
Yeah.
why do they have the power to
Ooh,
decide
good.
how much water your
Bureaucracy.
washing machine uses?
Let's
Shouldn't
start talking
Congress
about
and a
that.
democracy get to vote on that?
Yeah, you could say that. They do things that are not very...
So how do you, that's my question, how do you, if you get elected again, you go back to Washington, how do you keep the agencies under control? How do you keep FBI and
thank
CIA
God,
specifically under control?
W.
The way you
Big
do
W,
it, like I
Tucker.
fired Comey, that was a big deal. You know, a lot of people said, and I fired him very early. Somebody said, oh, I wish you would have fired him. There was a real question about...
No, he's fired right in the middle of the first or second Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson podcast. They made that stupid, cut in on that one. That's the only reason I remember that.
Firing him. Anyway, you understand, because, you know, when they have a 10-year term, there is a question. I fired Comey. That was a great thing. If I didn't fire Comey, maybe I wouldn't be talking to you, or I'd be talking to you about real estate or something else other than politics, right? That was a coup, in my opinion. That was a very sick deal. That was the insurance policy. You remember the insurance policy? Oh, she's going to win, darling. She's going to win. But just in case she doesn't, we have an insurance policy. An insurance policy was what they were doing. And we caught them with that. That was a very important tweet or whatever it was, text. It was a big deal. That was a big deal. The insurance policy. She's going to win 100 million to 1. That's not good odds. At least they gave me one, right? 100 million to 1. But just in case she doesn't win, we have an insurance policy. And everybody said, that's strange.
Yeah,
that's
it was
strange.
Peter Strzok.
But we caught all of that because I fired Comey. Because
bitch.
when I fired Comey, it was like throwing a rock into a hornet's nest, into a nest of bees, and
Lisa
the place
Page.
went crazy.
So when you were president, are you confident that you knew everything, say, CIA was doing?
No, I'm not. I'm not. It's a very interesting group of people. I had very good relationships, I thought, but I was a little surprised.
Well, you never really know the relationship that you have with the CIA, okay? That's kind of their business. You don't even know how much money they get with all the black budgets. Maybe the president does, but they like to keep that on a need-to-know basis.
When I got out, that, you know, things go on. Look, it's...
What were you surprised by?
I was surprised. I think at some of the people. I was surprised that there was... I had a group of people. Look, we killed many, using the CIA, I have to say this, very bad actors. We were very good at it. You look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, bigger than Osama bin Laden. I mean, Osama bin Laden, but al-Baghdadi did ISIS, and he was rebuilding ISIS very strongly.
And that was the CIA that did that?
That was really us that did that.
Yeah.
That was really us that did that. And Soleimani was us that did that, not so much CIA. But we did some very good work with the CIA. What I started, you know, when I looked at the 51 intelligence agents saying that was the laptop from hell was Russia disinformation, when I took a look at that, I said, that's a horrible thing. They knew it wasn't. They knew it was not. And by the way, you're talking about cheating on the election? McLaughlin and Fabrizio, great pollsters, they said a thing like that plus other things meant anywhere from 10 to 17% of the vote.
I thought it was 11%, but also that could be a different poll. That's just specifically because of the suppression on the Hunter Biden laptop story, not with anything else as well. That would have been a direct... the people that they polled said that they would have changed their vote or at least not voted for Joe Biden had they known about the validity of that story. But that only... Well, of course, as we all know, that only recently got confirmed. Oh, wow, the laptop is actually real. Who actually... Anybody know that? Still haven't seen a retraction from Mitt Romney and everybody else who signed on to that. Oh, it was verified that that's Russian disinformation. Shut up, Joe.
Change.
Whatever happened to Mike Pence? You've always been nice to Pence.
Oh, he's over debating on the other channel right now. I'm sure he's doing a great job.
Pence, I've never heard you criticize.
Like, I've been taking a look on Twitter as well to see if there's any highlights from that. I haven't seen fuck all when it comes to the debate. I don't know about that, but like I said, I'll do some research, and the next time that we're gonna do a debate, next time we're gonna do a stream, Well, hopefully Fox News isn't so butthurt about online commentators dissecting their horse shit. So we'll take a look at a later date. But that's where Mike Pence is right now, making sure that flies don't land in his hair, entering himself into Rex Bannon lookalike contests. He's got a busy schedule. He's just not winning any elections anytime soon.
Pence, you've defended him in public many, many times. He's out there attacking you. What is that?
So Mike wants to run for president. You got to understand, in my opinion, Mike Pence had the absolute right to send the votes back to the legislatures. The Democrats and everybody said, you don't have the right. In other words, what I said, is he a human conveyor belt? You mean if he finds fraud in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, the Electoral Count Act of 1876. I think that's the correct year. But yeah, as the president of the Senate, that's what the vice president is, by the way. That's why Kamala Harris from 2021 to 2023 had the tie-breaking vote, because president of the Senate, after all, has the right to look at electors and then just defer them back to the states in order to reaffirm their decision to send it up. That is ultimately one of the jobs. But then it got, that's not the law anymore. We made it better this time around by taking out that provision and making the president of the Senate, in regards to tabulating the electoral votes, just merely a ceremonial process. But yeah, at the time during 2020, or I guess it would have been 2021 when the votes ultimately did get tabulated, Mike Pence very much did have that provision under his belt.
Yeah, in Georgia, in any of these states, Arizona, he has to send them to Mitch McConnell, right? That's right, sir. Well, if he finds fraud, he has to? Yes, sir. I said, so he's a conveyor belt. Boom, put him in. I said, I don't agree with that. And we had some lawyers, not all, we had some lawyers that said, no, you do have the right to send them back to the legislatures to be rechecked. Because if you looked at what...
Shout out Robert Barnes. That's where I learned all the stuff that I mentioned to you guys as well. It's like he's a wealth of knowledge, and was also working somewhat in connection with the Trump campaign during all of those recounts in 2020. He was down there in Georgia, for Christ's sakes. Like, he has pretty intimate knowledge on that stuff.
Went on in Wisconsin, who, by the way, now agree with me. Wisconsin has been virtually, other than the fact they're not allowed to do anything statutorily, but Wisconsin has been, I mean, what they found is incredible. I mean, we won Wisconsin. But Mike Pence had the right, in my opinion, to send him back.
Do you ever talk to him now?
No, I haven't spoken to him in a long time. I was very disappointed in him. I didn't want to do what Thomas Jefferson did. Thomas Jefferson, it was Georgia. And it was, hear ye, hear ye, the great state of Georgia is not capable or allowed to tabulate their votes. And Thomas Jefferson, who was the vice president, said, is Georgia sure that they cannot tabulate their votes? Georgia is sure. He didn't send them back and have them redo it. He said, we will keep the votes of the great state of Georgia, for Thomas Jefferson and his president. I didn't ask him for that. Could have done that too, but I didn't. I thought that would be turmoil. I asked him to send him back to his legislature, to the legislatures, you know, in Wisconsin, let's say.
But why didn't he? I mean, you'd worked together for 4 years. You're the president. He's VP. You say you're aligned on everything.
I think he got very bad advice. I really do. Now, let me tell you what happened. I sat there with a few people. I think his lawyer was in the room too. His lawyer was very much against it. There were other lawyers that felt you could do it. It was one of those things. I think you could have done it. I think you can always do something if you see fraud or if you see problems. But it's very interesting. So after the election was over, the rhinos got together with the Democrats and they redid the election, so you couldn't do it anymore. So then I called the people. I said, so in other words, you're saying I was right. You could do it. Yes, you could do it. In other words, they took the...
Yeah, we knew that, and that's why you filed all those election lawsuits that just ended up getting conveniently tossed because of either latches, it's just you didn't file it early enough, or because of standing. Yeah, we don't really want to do that. And plus, the lawsuit's late now. So when are you supposed to file an election lawsuit? Right in that window before the votes are ultimately tabulated? Or are you supposed to predict that there's supposed to be some harm coming towards you and you just file it preemptively? It's like if you get beat up, okay? You get assaulted. Are you supposed to file the lawsuit against the person who you think is going to be beating you up sometime in the near future? Or do you wait until after the fact in order to try to reconcile your grievances? Apparently, according to the court, there's a little window of time. They're not going to tell you exactly when that window is, and if you do end up falling it in there, well, of course, now you're at judicial discretion where we don't have to go after against everything. Like, come on, we don't need to take a look at that. All of those lawsuits were conveniently looked at and thrown away, up to and including by the Supreme Court, which you guys might remember. It was Texas versus Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona. I think there was a couple of more states that were thrown in there as well, but that was the big Supreme Court case that got up to the Supreme Court, and then it was dismissed for lack of standing. A little 2-line statement, and oof. That was, that was probably the first time doing this commentary gimmick where you could really, I really had my spirit broken by that. It's like, wow, you guys are going to look at all of that, not even entertain it, huh? All right, then. We know exactly what we're going to be in for the next 4 years. And here we are 3 years in. And yeah, it's about as bad as everybody anticipated.
Voting Act. And they redid it so the vice president no longer has the power to do what I said he could do. So when that happened, I said, wow. So, and you'd look some of these Democrats in the eye and they'd say, he has absolutely no right to do it. And immediately after the election, they met rhinos, could name them all, and Democrats, and they approved legislation that takes away the right of the vice president to do it. So I said, so you're saying I was right. The vice president did have the right to do it, and they said, yes, he did.
So if you're saying they stole it from you last time, why wouldn't they do the same this time?
Oh, well, they'll try. They're going to be trying, yeah. And not only me, Look.
Yeah.
DeSantis is out. I think he's gone. So he was at a level. People have figured him out. He's gone.
Fast.
But if somebody else got in, other than me, they'll go at him just as viciously as they did me.
That's why you're already seeing the smears against Vivek, not because he's going to overtake Trump or anything like that. It's just because they spot him. The mass media right now spots him as, the young up-and-comer right now, and that's why the attacks are so early on this one, okay, and why you're not seeing anything in regards to Ron.
These people are sick. Yeah. They will go after them, and a lot of people say they won't be able to hold up. I do get credit for holding up quite well, I must tell you. I think it's...
How do you do that? How do you get indicted every week and stay cheerful?
It's, I think it's a lot easier because I'm so high in the polls, because it means the people get it. The people see it's a fraud. The people see it, like this horrible district attorney.
Which one?
From just a little while ago.
Oh, Fanny?
From essentially Atlanta.
Oh, Fanny the starfucker. Shaq. How many other athletes? How many other rappers? She's a perennial clout chaser. What does she got? No, YNW Melly is in Florida. A Young Thug, okay, tried to catch him on RICO charges. Like, she is specifically going after high-profile cases because she has a lot more lofty aspirations. It's like, Christ almighty, it's like, I don't know who's bigger than Shaq, but what do you want to get, some LeBron dick or something like that? Is that what you're aiming for? It's like, she doesn't have a good case. Like, it's terrible. If you guys have seen any of the evidence that she has right there, it's fucking laughable, that 96-page indictment that's just littered with stupid fucking examples. But she has the audacity to run with that. But yeah, no, we'll let Trump cook here. I already did my stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Words.
It's Fulton County. She said, basically, I don't have any right to challenge an election. Well, what about Stacey Abrams? What about Hillary Clinton? What about all of these Democrats that are still challenging my election? The same people that are saying he's challenging an election challenged my election. And they did it with slates. They did it with all sorts of things. They were very bad about it. But basically, they're suing me, and they're saying, you don't have any right to challenge it. If you challenge an election, we're going to indict you and put you in jail. So what they're doing is they've weaponized, and don't kid yourself, the DOJ and Biden and the whole group, they're watching all of this stuff. They love the local stuff. The DA in Manhattan. Not only that, they put one of the DOJ top people into the Manhattan DA's office to run things. They don't even have a case against me. It's not even a case. Everyone says, even the Democrats say, you can't bring these cases. You have no case. The Attorney General or the District Attorney, Fannie Willis, in Atlanta, she's getting killed. Basically, she's saying Trump doesn't have the right to criticize an election. But you've been around long enough now. You've seen many elections criticized. I mean, Hillary Clinton goes crazy. Every time she talks, she says, he's not the president. Jimmy Carter said, he's not the president. Well, I am the president. Hillary Clinton called me, by the way, at 3:02 in the morning to congratulate me the night of the election.
Did her voice crack?
Well, her voice was, it's very different, I will say. I won't get into that. But
what do you mean?
Her voice was very different. Don't forget, they were all...
She was apparently really drunk and belligerent behind the scenes in 2016. Oh my God, those stories. She was absolutely apoplectic in the back room. That's why she wouldn't come out and deliver a speech and had to send John Podesta out to the Javits Center at the time. Oh my God. I remember, God damn it. I remember it like it was yesterday watching that. Oh my God, that election night in 2016, then the day after. That was one of my fondest memories. I've forgotten a whole hell of a lot about my life, but not that night, man. That one's going to stay with me for fucking ever. And there's going to be very few events in my future that are ever going to top that. Fuck, man. That was one of those magical... I could reminisce forever, but you know, there's not much left here. Let's continue. And then I also got some clips. I was mentioning it to Raven over on the YouTube side of things. Been paying attention to some of the debate coverage and the fact that there's just not very many clips that are out there. But long story short, Vivek reigns supreme. Chris Christie's getting booed. And I've got one clip keyed up for after we do this. But ultimately, I'm going to try to do the debate in the near future. Not likely Sunday. Maybe there's a chance on Sunday. But Tuesday, probably we'll be back with a good stream on that one. So we'll do the debates then as just kind of a post-mortem. I want to get some more information on that one.
Celebrating at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I came home and I said, you know, I think we won. I felt we won because the rallies are so big. You know, we'd go to Wisconsin and we'd go to Georgia. We'd go to different states. In Michigan, we'd have rallies. In Pennsylvania, we had 58,000 people in Butler. And I said, you know, how are we losing this? How do you have a rally where you have from 50 to 100,000 people, many of them? You know, I did 7 a day for a couple of days. That's a lot. That's a lot. These are big rallies too. And I didn't hold back. I didn't say, let's make them let's do abbreviations, right? But they challenged the stuff. Yeah. Hillary called me up and conceded. Now the word is that Obama said you have to do that. But she called up and totally conceded. But now, you know, every time you see her on television, she's saying like, well, she's challenging the election.
Do you think...
So that would mean that she should be indicted, but that would mean also that Stacey Abrams in Georgia should be indicted because she still thinks she won the election for governor. She still thinks that. She's never recanted. And
do you think Stacey Abrams will be indicted for that?
No, of course not. She won't be. The Democrats don't get indicted for things like that.
And plus, okay, where would they... They don't have a facility large enough to house Stacey Abrams. Christ almighty, on Star Trek she played... I was going to say president, but she played Planet Earth, for Christ's sakes. Where are you going to house her?
They don't get impeached. No, it's a different thing. With that being said,
yes,
I had great support when they did impeachment hoax #1 and impeachment hoax #2. Jim Jordan, the House was fantastic. And actually the Senate was very good for me, other than, you know, Mitch McConnell. I think if he had, it's too bad I endorsed him. He was begging, he was going to lose that race, and I endorsed him, and he ended up winning the race because of my endorsement. He was down, he was going to lose to Amy McGrath. She was $90 million in cash, all set to go. She was leading by 3. He was going down. I did him a favor, and then 3-4 months later, he really wanted to impeach me. He's a bad guy. But if you look at what's going on politically, it's so interesting. The level of loyalty is different in politics than it is in normal life, I will say. With that being said, I've had great loyalty also. But the House was fantastic. The Senate was very good. You know, they overrode Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, in my opinion, was trying to get senators to impeach me, especially for the second one. Yeah. And on the first one, he acted very, very slow. He should have gone much faster.
Yeah, behind the scenes for the second impeachment in regards to January 6th, there was some scuttlebutt. I don't know anything about the rumors or the validity of these, but apparently when Trump was signing all of his pardons in his final days, when he pardoned something, like 70 some odd people, he had a couple more pardons on his desk. One for Edward Snowden and one for Julian Assange. And then Mitch McConnell and his shell waddles into the Oval Office and says, "Well, if you want the support of the Republican senators, you're going to have to get rid of those two pardons. Otherwise, you'll be indicted." That was apparently what was going on. Haven't heard any confirmation of that in any form or fashion, but hey man, it seems to make sense because Trump was speaking very highly, folks. They tell me that they're good whistleblowers. I like whistleblowers. I like people that tell the truth. It would really make sense, and that was an easy victory on the way out the door, but yeah, just trying to recoup for a future assault kind of makes sense as well. Once again, shout out to 33 strategies of war for that one. Just recoup when you're not going to win. So maybe that's what Trump is doing on his way out the door. But then again, we could just be looking back at that with rose-tinted glasses.
But Mitch McConnell wanted to, and the senators went up to guys that are subservient to him because he gives money. He gives them money. He gives them a lot of money. He raises some money and he gives it to them. Therefore, they do what he said. That's the only form of leadership he's got.
So last question. If you're elected president again, what's your number one priority? When you ran last time, you said, "I will build a wall." Jeez. This time, your bottom line top promise to the country.
So you can do numerous things at the same time.
Of course.
But let's say number one is a border.
Yeah.
And
drill,
taking hundreds of thousands of criminals that have been allowed into our country and getting them out and bringing them back to their country, Guatemala. By the way, not
Salvador.
Only the 4 countries that we think of as neighbors, all over the world. Last month, we had 149 countries represented. Think of it. We had 149 countries represented, Tucker, from places that many people never even heard of, coming into our country. And they come.
Yeah, if you don't believe that people don't know 149 countries, even though there's over 200 in the world. Don't get me on the exact number, but if you want confirmation that people don't know even 3 countries, shout out Fresh and Fit. The fact that they've been demonetized absolutely fucking pisses me off to no end, but you might have seen that on Rumble. And shout out to everybody who's turned out. Like, the viewership over on Rumble has steadily been going up, and we've been having a pretty good turnout over on YouTube, which is also fantastic. And shout out to everybody that's been talking to in the chat as well. It's been a hell of a good hangout. Shout out Raven, shout out Rookie, seen Meme in there earlier. Ed's checked in as well, and a couple of other folks in there as well. Shout out to you guys. It's been fun. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Coming in from mental institutions, and they're coming in from prisons. They're emptying out their prisons all over South America. They're emptying out their mental institutions.
Oh, the only prisons that aren't being... Oh, what the fuck? Oh, there was a Central American country that just, basically fixed their MS-13 problem by putting everybody in a hyper security prison. I think it was El Salvador, or it could be Colombia or Venice. I am completely lost on that one. Fuck.
Terrorists are pouring into our country. We have no idea. I had the strongest border in the history of our country, and I built almost 500 miles of wall. They like to say, "Oh, was it less?" No.
Oh, now Joe Biden's selling off the iron, the box iron for the gates. And then I think it was earlier today, the cover story for the New York Post. Yes, it was the New York Post. They had the pictures of the gates in the wall, gates in the southern border wall along Arizona, if I seen it correctly. Yeah, they're welded. They're welded open. Welded open. Like, I don't know if that's some kind of 4-dimensional chess move. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to catch them because they're going to have open slats in the wall. Okay, now do the one that's on the southwest border in Texas right there, where people are just going right to the edge of this wall, where there's an obvious pair of slats that are missing on that one, or they just continue to go through. I don't know which way they spin or are going to spin it. I didn't read the article. All I've seen was the headline, so I could be completely wrong on this. And again, we've seen the pictures of it, and it's like, why are 4 gates welded open? Doesn't make any sense at all, unless, of course, you're just... Unless it's so obvious that you're just trying to replace everybody and get a new voter base. Just saying.
No. I built 500 miles. In fact, if you check with the authorities on the border, we built almost 500 miles of wall, and I had another 200 that I was going to build. You know, it's like water, it seeks. And we're going to build another 200. We built it. It was all set to go. All they had to do was install it. It would have taken 3 weeks. And that's when I found out. I said, I think these people actually want open borders. The first thing I would do would be I would seal up the border good and tight, except for people that want to come in legally.
Do you think we're moving towards civil war?
There's tremendous passion, and there's tremendous...
I think if we have a repeat of 2020, it's going to be way more fiery. Not that I'm instigating anything. I'm just not... I don't know if anybody's really... I don't think people are ready to go along with everything one more time. I don't think so.
It's love. You know, January 6th was a very interesting day because they don't report it properly.
Yeah.
I believe it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken before. And you know some of the crowds I've spoken before. And like July 4th on the mall, I think they had 1 million people there. But I think that the biggest crowd I've ever spoken before was on January 6th. And people that were in that crowd, a very, very small group of people, and we said patriotically and peacefully and patriotically, right? Nobody ever says that. Go peacefully and patriotically.
Peacefully.
But people that were in that crowd that day, very small group of people, went down there, and then there are a lot of scenarios that we can talk about.
El Salvador. Thanks, Ed.
People in that crowd said it was the most beautiful day they've ever experienced. There was love in that crowd. There was love and unity. I have never seen such spirit and such passion and such love. And I've also never seen simultaneously and from the same people such hatred of what they've done to our country.
So do you think it's possible that there's open conflict? We seem to be moving towards something.
I don't know, because I don't know what it, you know, I can say this. There's a level of passion that I've never seen. There's a level of hatred that I've never seen, and that's probably a bad combination.
Donald Trump, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hey!
Thank you.
That is a bad combination, by the way.
Bad combination. Thank you.
Terrible combination. Oh, wow. No outro or anything like that. Okay. Oh, shit. I'll be completely honest. Not bad. Definitely bookended with the strongest stuff up front. What the fuck was addressed up front? I thought that was pretty strong. Oh, and especially making fun of Kamala Harris. Like, that one's definitely going to stick out. I already seen in a couple of the clips that I got pulled up, or at least some reporting from the debate itself. Basically, guess what? Yeah, Vivek ended up winning, and yeah, he looks like he's torching the rest of the stage. He's definitely going to be surpassing Ron DeSantis, you know, just leading with initiative when it comes to taking a stance on controversial topics. Looking forward to covering that debate, well, especially when his stupid Fox lifts the embargo, because maybe we'll just go ahead and I'll start pulling this stuff up here as well. But what fucking button do I need here? I need this one. I need this one so I can go ahead.
Debate night.
No, it is debate night, Tucker. But thanks, we already know that. But let's see. I want to see how many people have watched this so far. Okay, so capture. Okay, so 75 million views on this from 35 minutes ago. But yeah, okay. How many views does the video have right now? 78.1. Holy shit. Holy. There used to be a way to see like actual tangible impressions on this one. Interesting to hear. Oh, Elon Musk's even chiming in on that one. Oh, interesting. Yeah. He really wants Trump to come back on the platform. And I guess this is probably I never thought about this, but it probably is the biggest foray the biggest impression that Trump has had on the platform since he's been removed from it, specifically having an exclusive interview on the platform. You know, Elon wants him back. He just wants that interaction. He wants those ad dollars to go up because you're going to have your biggest tweeter back. Like, come on, man, it's going to be super simple. So yeah, that totally makes sense. But no, it's absolutely cooking that shit right now. So go back to me. Stare at me for a second. Look at me. Look into my eyes, even though you can't really see him at this point in time, but okay. So yeah,
Number one issue is climate change.
Oh my God, it kind of ended up with a fucking lead on that one, but apparently on this one, okay, yeah, conservative organization, young, the fuck do they call it? Young Americans, some little fucking rhino pack for kids, okay? Uses their first question to ask how Republicans will fight climate change. Yeah, this is the important shit. I guess we missed out with live coverage over on Fox. What were they asking about?
Polls consistently show that young people's number one issue is climate change. How will
I want to die.
you, as both President of the United States and leader of the Republican Party, calm their fears that the Republican Party doesn't care about climate change?
Oh my God. Just once again, fall into the frame of the left, okay? This is why, okay? This is why it's always the meme that the Republicans are just the liberals driving in the slow lane, and 10 years from now, they're just going to be adopting the same talking points that the Republican Party, or that the Democrat Party holds right now, and just to regurgitate them and throw it back at them. Oh, see, Democrats care about climate change, but you need to go fight on their turf to show them how stupid they are. It's such a fucking losing proposition because you're always playing from behind. No, whenever somebody brings up climate change and go, what are your facts? Oh, okay, cool. Because I remember the last time that I looked at any sort of climate change documentary, and Al Gore, the guy who has 0 degrees on the subject, told me that Mount Fiji was going to be completely barren and it would have been a gone of ice. And what the North Pole or the South Pole was supposed to be completely underwater. Go ahead, or depending on the day, maybe it's all 3. Who the fuck knows? Okay, so yeah, stop engaging with them by going, well, actually, we don't need that. No, just make it as ludicrous as possible. I don't know what they're saying here, but we'll get a little clip, I guess.
So we want to start on this with a show of hands. Do you believe in human behavior is causing climate change? Raise your hand if you do.
Oh, they don't even show the God damn it, Jack. Why the fuck would you clip it like that, you stupid bitch? Anyways, go back. Well, it's just my back catalog here, but I guess Tim's live tweeting the event in some form or fashion, but oh my God, yo, that's fucking fat and sad. But yeah, okay. We'll just go ahead and run with this here for a second. But yeah, no, that's a little bit more important. So Brett Baer, who's one of the moderators on that one, he's the Fox guy with the very square head, had to scold the audience because they booed Chris Christie too much. When asked if they will support Trump if convicted, only Vivek, without hesitation, raises his hand. The rest of the crowd ended up just following afterwards, going, is that the party line that we're going with on this one? Is that going to be fine? Okay, fantastic. Yeah, and there it is. Vivek Ramaswamy has the courage. I don't want to see fat ass, and he's going to end up eating out my time. Imagine getting fucking taken down because you got a background clip of fucking fat. I was going to say a very bad word about him, but I'll just go ahead and save my rage for somebody who actually will matter. He's just going to do a fat John Kasich impression and just end up becoming a talking head over on CNN. I think I used that line before, but no. That's definitely what he's going to be doing. Just hopefully they still have that Lizzo chair that they used. Fucking Christ. With the courage, he had to say no more funding to Ukraine. Everybody else was, what? The company or the party talking point is that Putin is a war criminal. Putin's a war criminal. Beep, boop, boop, boop. But Vivek, shout out to him because he also had, I think it was an email or something like that. He called Ron DeSantis. It's probably one of his better nicknames. Okay, Robot Ron. I really like it because, yeah, there is no organic talking points ruminating in that fucking idiot's head. Okay, definitely you can tell by the people that he curates around himself. Yeah, fuck it. He's kind of the political version of Sneeko, who he just assimilates the form of anybody that he's standing next to. Not that I dislike Sneeko. It's just, whatever. Chris Christie, yeah, won over the Krasensteins. Oh my God, those fucking dorks. Yeah, Christ Christie won the GOP debate, in my opinion. That's fantastic. If you're going to go ahead and appeal. And that's why I say, never take the framing of the left, okay? Because they're just going to end up leading you into disaster. Chris Christie isn't even a fucking electable at a Golden Corral. Like, the guy is absolutely dead. Very significant weight. So yeah, the fact that he is appealing to the left doesn't translate to votes. It'll never translate to votes. Mike Pence stood for the Constitution, but we have to dispense with the person who said we need to suspend the Constitution. Oh, okay, cool. So he's he's cherry picking Trump. So for everything that we're seeing right here, okay, Trump loomed large over the debate, just like I and everybody else suspected. So yeah, we'll run that back at a later date. But the overwhelming opinion is Vivek Vivek won the day. Okay, what's he talking about, or what's his campaign at least talking about? Okay, so, oh, and see, at least him, shout out to him. He's using the Rumble side of this thing. I reject the consensus winning in Ukraine is vital interest. Nearly the entire GOP field rails against Biden, but cut through the grandstanding, and it turns out that they are solidly behind him on the important foreign policy issue. This time, America First 2.0, fucking based. It's folks at home want to watch a bunch of people blindly bash Trump. They can just flip the channel and watch MSNBC right now. Oh my God, my dude right here. But I'm not running for president of MSNBC. I'm running for president of the United States. Watch in a week's time, this motherfucker's poll numbers just double. I would imagine double. And most of the polls that we see, I'm going to try to pull up a more recent poll from Interactive Polls. Let's see what I can get here right quick. IA polls. IA polls 2022. Yeah, that's fine. Generic ballot. Let's see what we can run down here. Okay. Yeah, actually, I like that one right here. Really doesn't much matter, but yeah, shout out to IA polls. Share of GOP primary voters who were considering voting for each candidate. 65% of the 4,471 likely voters that they polled. Oh, this is from 538. So even still, this is a very left-leaning audience, but 65% of polled GOP primary voters would vote for Trump. 52% of them would vote for DeSantis. Ramaswamy at 23. Chris Christie, minus 28 net favorability. That fucker is dead and buried. Holy shit, like that fat fucker is done. Louisiana governor, really don't care about that one. Interactive presidential election poll, Biden and Trump. Yeah, all of them that you can see, and they just tweet out. They do a fantastic job of just disseminating all of the information. Yahoo, YouGov, so left-leaning poll on that one. Oh, Biden's up by 6. DeSantis, oh no, DeSantis has a chance on that one, but then you can see from a bunch of different polls as well. Yeah, Trump GOP president, so I don't even know why you're running the DeSantis shit, because Ramaswamy right behind him at 8%. The moment that that can encapsulate, maybe by Monday, maybe by the weekend, it's just going to end up, yeah, because you got a 1 week period on that one. So yeah, by early next week, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, Vivek's going to be in second position, and DeSantis, he's probably going to get desperate and start launching all the attacks against. It's going to become infighting 2.0, and Trump's just going to be above all of that stuff. And the way that, especially the way that Vivek is, positioning himself. If I want to be the if I want to be the president of MSNBC, I would be over there right now. I'm running for president of the United States. No, to be completely honest, you're running to be Secretary of State, or. The more that I think about it, I'd like to know your guys' opinion on this, because we'll probably close out right here, because I got some recording and some editing, and I still got a third video from today, which, spoilers, it's going to be about Bud Light. Whenever I think that I'm done with the topic, I got to come back and I got to run it back one more time. But that's all right. That's all right. You guys like the stuff anyways. But I think that Vivek would probably be the best VP candidate. I might do a video on this one specifically, because I think that it's probably the best. He's definitely positioning himself to be the best, and is definitely the best suited. I know, Carrie Lake would be a fantastic pick as well, but nobody quite despises women as much as women, okay? Like, I think Carrie Lake's great. I'm very tough on all politicians, and when it comes to female politicians, not a lot of them really have that much lasting power. Remember how everyone was fawning over Kristi Noem? When was the last time you heard a peep out of that bitch? Yeah, exactly. And then the rest of the examples that are out there, fucking terrible. How many of them actually make it to the end of their term? Very fucking few. Jacinda Ardern? Nope. Sanna Marin? There was a party at 6:15 and she needed to check out early for that one. How many other examples are there that are out there? There aren't very many. And yeah, I think Carrie Lake could be exceptional. Hopefully she's running for Senate, and especially the way that would end up shaking out, like the Democrat vote would end up getting split between Sinema and whoever the Democrats are going to nominate, and it'd be just such a muddle fuck. And especially the way that Carrie Lake can equivocate, she would be a hell of a good firebrand, and definitely a full switch, and then just the total death of McCainism in Arizona. A boy can dream on that one. But Vivek, just get this one, okay? Just think about those vice presidential debates with rhyming Kamala on the other side of Vivek. That would be a fucking slaughter of epic proportions. But yeah, I think probably end right there. Even though, hey, I got to check and make sure that everybody's doing cool over here. So yeah, no, shout out to you guys for that one. Very good turnout on Rumble, especially for being away for so long. Shout out to you guys, okay? I like interacting with everybody in the chats as well. And then, of course, man, Take Back America from Dem Boys. I like it. I like the guns first and he did say that. I got to find the proper context on that one. Yeah, I like we take back the gun. Oh, yeah, we take back the guns and do due process later. Was this something about the Second Amendment or something like that? Or maybe that was the framing on that one. I got to find that initial tweet. Or I'm sorry, that initial statement around the context, because yeah, no, it's definitely troubling. But then again, okay, I don't know Vivek Ramaswamy's position on the Second Amendment, and yeah, that was one case, but still at the same time, man, pretty fucking troubling. Not gonna lie, okay? So yeah, you bring up a very fair point, but Trump then passed red flag laws and banned bump stocks. He did ban bump stocks, no red flags law or red flag laws. That's a Ron DeSantis extraordinaire, and I did point that out. There's a video on the channel from earlier this year, I think, in regards to that. So yeah. No red flag laws, but yeah, the banning of the bump stocks and then just simply rationalizing it by saying, yeah, it had to do with the Parkland shooting. Yeah, no, trying to rationalize it. No, that was Ron DeSantis, 100%. That was Ron DeSantis. I did a video on that one. You're not wrong about the bump stocks one there. Take Back America from Dem Boys. Yeah, so. Yeah, again, I want to find proper context on that. I'm not calling you a liar. I'm just saying you raised a very good point on that one. So yeah, Second Amendment stuff definitely has to get tackled, and especially if Trump's strategy for the rest of the primary season is to just run counter programming against Fox or anybody else, or if he doesn't step back on the debate stage, I'd like to hear him hit on more pressing topics. Like, yeah, you did address Ukraine. Very important. He addressed the border crisis. Very good. He got a couple of dunks on the current administration. Very much needed as well. Just characterizing and then just reinforcing the ludicrousness of the current administration that's there. And then also because, nobody wants to talk about 2020 anymore. We got to move ahead. Well, take a look at all of his fucking lawsuits that are right there. Okay, you got to address that shit right fucking now. So of course, you're going to have to talk about that. Well, everybody else is running away scared. As we've seen from the current round of debates right now, yeah, there's only one guy willing to stand up who's positioning himself very, very well. But we'll see. I still think Trump, even though he said, I'm not going to be on any of those primary stages. I'm sure towards the end of it, as we ramp up towards, the actual primary season, probably take the stage in some form or fashion. But he's got to at least address some of the pertinent issues instead of just, kind of having to sit down with friends, because I liked the interview. I thought it was very fun. It was one of the better interviews that I've seen of Trump. But yeah, if we could just start hitting on more important topics in the future, that'd be great. Okay, so yeah. No, shout out to everybody for turning out on that one. Trump signed the Patriot Act again. Did he? I thought that got repealed. You bring up some interesting points. Got to check that out as well. So shout out to Steven. Oh, from Ohio. Great state of Ohio. I'd love to visit there someday. Okay. Ed, who's in here, and then Raven, going back and forth. That was a hell of a lot of fun on YouTube. And then, of course, seen Meme over on the... Oh, my mind's going to poop. It's going to be great for recording earlier. But over on the Rumble side for seeing Meme, and then, of course, going back and forth with Rookie. Of course, it's always a privilege. It's always so much fun to see you guys. Looking forward to getting back on a proper schedule when it comes to streaming, doing things more consistently. And the next time we do this, we'll take a look at the debates, like I've said before, ad nauseum. But yeah, appreciate you guys for turning out on this one. 1,000%. Hopefully we'll see you again on the next one. And if not, third video will be coming out here before the end of the day. I already have it edited. Everything's all edited. I just have to make the thumbnail. Do all the background shit, okay? You'll see it. It's about 16 minutes long. All about what's going on right now with the greater Bud Light atmosphere. That shit is still going on. And then tomorrow we'll have 6 of them. Hopefully you guys like that release schedule where we had one coming out every hour on the hour, because that's the way that we're going to be running it for until I run out of back catalog from everything that's over on Rumble. That's also kind of a soft experiment to see what we can do with releasing different videos throughout the day. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. You guys seem receptive, at least to some of that. And so, yeah, I got to schedule all that shit here tonight. So still got a long one ahead of me. So with all of that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone. Thanks again for turning out.